Hello, guys. Welcome back to Genesis Vocals. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Daniela.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you very much. We're here at episode 5 of Genesis Vocals, and this is about midway through season 1. So this is a big turning point for me, and we've got a very special guest today. This is Daniela, Goal 17 mentor, coordinator, and self-made author. But I'm going to pass it on to you. Let the viewers know just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so hello and Happy New Year. I am a German living in the UK since 2001, and I have a pretty varied background professionally. Yes, I have published, self-published 4 books. I'm working on actually 3 more at the moment. And
other than this pile right here, that's good.
And I'm a life coach, and since October last year I'm working for Goal 17 as a mentoring program coordinator, and that job is an absolute dream. I really love it, and I think we'll delve into that a bit later.
Absolutely.
Yeah, other than that, I'm a mother. I've got a 26-year-old son who is a lawyer, and yeah.
So the job of mothering doesn't even stop until it never stops.
Oh no, it never
stops.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry, Mum, you're going to be working forever. There's no retirement in that field.
So. No, there isn't. But then again, it's a joy. Yeah, so.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, okay. So first thing I want to actually get into is because, anyone that's seen my page, seen my videos, this is all about being able to make your own future, being able to do what you love, being able to follow what you desire in the most proactive and productive way. This is actually, guys, one of the first books she's ever published. I'm going to bring it up to the camera, called Deck of Cards. Here we are, the camera focused it out. It's available on Amazon. I myself am gonna get a copy and work through this. The inspiration behind the title, I know you told me before, but I think it's really cool. Where did you get the idea for the title cards of the book to be Deck of Cards?
Okay, well, that goes back to my own very first love story, and that is when I came to England the first time as an exchange student. And I met my first boyfriend. And obviously I was only here for 4 months. I had to go back to Germany. The whole thing eventually ended. But he did send me a deck of cards because we used to play cribbage.
Cribbage?
Yes.
I've never played cribbage.
Yeah. He was a golfer, and in the golf club, after they played golf, there was always a group getting together playing crib. So I learned that. And anyhow, he sent me a deck of cards, and on every card he wrote something, like from the first meeting, so and so and so and so on, the first kiss and other things, and then on to the final separation, which is death. So I thought, when I looked at that a few years later, I thought, you know what, I think I can make a story out of this. And that was the beginning.
It is. Self-published as well.
Yes.
Come on, guys. That is just... See, you following your passion, and it's based off like what your experiences in life have been.
Yeah.
This is, what more can you ask for? It's the most enjoyable experience, I feel personally, that an individual can do. Just make something that you love, make something that means a lot to you. And when other people look at it, they go, oh, wow, that's really cool. Cool, where did you get that from? How did you... it gets them thinking as well.
Yes.
So it's literally... That's just reminded me to just take inspiration from anything I kind of see and just go, yeah, because I met so-and-so and they were like this. Or because I went to this place and it reminded me of this. I'm going to do stuff like that. And you just get artworks, honestly.
Huh? And I think that's what writing is about, really. It's storytelling. But every writer will have an influence through the people they meet, through their life, whatever happens to them, their dreams, and all that weaves into your writing. And I think if you can entertain and if you can ideally educate or make people think a bit, then you've achieved great things.
Exactly. Even if it's one person, if you get that one person to sit there and actually take a bit more thought into something they would have just brushed past upon or just went with their emotions on how they were going to act in a certain way, you've achieved your goal.
No, you're right. That's the same with life coaching. If you achieve, as you say, if you achieve that one person has a better life after interacting with you or understands their own path better, then you have done it.
You've completed, You've completed it.
Yeah.
So what kind of characteristics make a good coach, just in general? Mentoring coach, life coach. When you're going to teach someone, when you're going to now mold someone's way of thinking or give guidance, what inside yourself do you need to make sure you have ready in check?
I think very important is empathy, listening skills, and communication skills. And you've got to be of the mindset that you really want to help. You want to give a helping hand to someone who needs your support. Mentoring, or as a life coach, it's the same really. Because there's a lot of people out there who don't know what they want, or they feel like no one actually cares about me, no one is interested in what I want to do, what I want to achieve, and I don't really know who to turn to talk. I don't know, how can I achieve my dreams? Is it ridiculous that I want to achieve dreams? So that's where I think a mentor or a life coach can come in, and they can help you understand yourself, your ambitions, and help you also develop the skill set to actually achieve what you want, because we all can. It's just a matter of mindset in a lot of cases. I mean, not everyone can become a brain surgeon, that's fair comment. But with your own personal goals, other than professionally, you can achieve them. You can. It's a matter of, making up your mind and then sticking with it. And going through little changes. It's not easy, but it can be done. Simple things like, how can I lead a happier life? Well, don't expect other people to make you happy. That's the first thing. Get to the understanding that it's all in your head. You've got to be happy with yourself first. If you can't be that, then no one else can make you happy. That's a misconception, I think. It's even in a romantic relationship, the burden on someone else to be the person who is responsible for your happiness, that's probably what makes a lot of relationships not work out in the long run.
Yeah, it's disproportionate.
Yes, because I can't expect my partner to make me happy. I have to make myself happy. I need to understand what it is that I need to be happy, and then give it to myself. So I think we've gone off track.
No. It's still on track. It's definitely still on track, because even with mindset, it's especially the point you said about doing it in small little stages.
Yes.
This is so important, because even myself, I and a lot of the viewers as well, they would have said, okay, I'm going to achieve this goal, but they've tried to do all the steps in a very, very short period of time. And this leads to burnout. And you won't even be able to identify when the burnout is happening. But that day where you get up and you're supposed to do something to work towards the goal, and you go, listen, I'm going to and I'm gonna take a minute, and a minute becomes 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes becomes a day.
Yeah.
Then it just doesn't get done at all. That's when you've burned yourself out, and that's because a lot of people don't have the correct strategy
Yes.
when going towards a task and know their own pace that they need for their brain to stay interested.
And it needs perseverance. You need to stick with it. There is no, like, let's say, well, let's think of an athlete. He can't say one day, yeah, I'll run 10 miles today, and then for the next 5 weeks does nothing. You've got to do something every day, and it doesn't have to be a big thing, but keep with it, stick with it, and sooner or later, all of a sudden, you don't have to think about it anymore, you just do it.
It has to become a habit.
Exactly.
It has to become a habit. I actually want to take a reference to, I was a part of a forum. I'm part of a forum with this group of people that I met. They came to England for the Black Business Expedition. They're in the US now, but I join their forum sometimes, and we were reading a book, and it's called Atomic Habits. And it talked about a strategy called habit stacking, which is a very simple kind of thing. We do it all the time, even without thinking about it. But when we do something that we must do every single day, like for example, if I'm going to go brush my teeth, I'm now going to attach a little tiny task that will lead to the completion of an overall task. So for example, this interview series that I'm doing, after I brush my teeth, I will make sure to look at the calendar to see if I have to message anyone that's going to do an interview, if I have any invites to send, if I have to tweak any templates, any questions. But I'll just look at the calendar. But now it's just I can't stop doing it.
No.
I just brush my teeth and then take out my phone and look at, but that's the kind of creation
Correct, yeah.
that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's as we said before, it's all about the mindset. It's creating that mindset that embraces challenges as well and doesn't look at change as something that you have to fear, but as something that is actually going to be exciting. You know, it gives you new opportunities, and you may meet new people, and it's all, it is
But
exciting. Change is exciting.
Yeah. It's hard to view it as such, especially because we're creatures of habit.
And we are, oh yes.
We want a plan to go and then if there's unforeseen things happen, we're like,
No, it's true. And I mean, some things obviously are not nice. You may lose your job, you may lose people in your life, and that is hard. That is change that is, hard to swallow.
Yeah.
Definitely. But for example, when I lost my dad, now 10 years ago.
Apologies.
And I was very close to him. The way I managed to get through it after the, of course, initial really bad pain is by remembering the great times, the good times, the laughter, the joy, the fun we had, the journeys we did together, the conversations. And by remembering all the good things, you by and by just learn to accept that, he's not here anymore, but I had an amazing dad. So I'm grateful for that. So gratitude is a big thing that helps you also with changing your mindset.
With everything, gratitude is massive.
Absolutely
massive.
Yeah.
Absolutely there. We'll go on to the next one, which is, we've actually covered quite a bit in terms of everything, which is good. No, this is really, really nice. Let's talk about Goal 17.
Yeah.
And what it entails.
Mm-hmm.
What is its goal?
Yeah.
And what for you is the most rewarding aspect of it?
Yeah. Okay, so Goal 17.
Goal 17
is an award-winning small business that was founded by Fran Borman, so the CEO, and I joined them in October last year, as I said. So Goal 17 is mainly about creating mentoring programs educating mentors, and then bringing mentors and mentees together.
Okay.
And that, that happens either in the corporate world. So we have some big international or multinational clients, but also in like local communities. So we work with a lot of local authorities, and there with the care leavers. So young people of about 18 plus who come out of the care system, and young homeless people. And these are really the ones that where my personal passion comes in. So corporate mentoring is one thing, but mentoring young people and helping them get a perspective on life and feel like actually there are people out there who do care. That is, I think, the bit that is really great and passionate, and that's that's where our mentoring, our recruiting of mentors comes in. So goal 17, is
I think
the aim is sorry.
No. I think that just before you go into the aim, a lot of people, when we talk about mentoring, I personally would have never affiliated it with the care system, especially with all the networking events I've been to, and I understand that it's founders, it's people in the professional career going on. We're told, find your mentor.
Yes.
You're going to find your mentor here. Your mentor will come around in your life, so on and so forth. I never knew that for the care system, that this is also a very, very distinguished commodity inside it, which is a nice thing to hear, because I would imagine the care system is very, very tough on an individual's mind to go through, not having a mother figure or a father figure, and you're kind of just going along with what's happening and doing the best you can with what you have.
Yeah, and you don't really have a proper guidance. Not like us, who have been brought up by parents who loved us and made us feel special.
Exactly.
A lot of them have never experienced that or have lost it, and a lot of them feel like, well, what's the point? What's the point? What can I do? Where can I get? I'll just end up in prison anyhow, or whatever. So for them, or for us to find those people, the right kind of mentor who listens, who understands, who is patient, and who gives his or her own values to the young person, can really be a life changer. Because of course some of them just need help with writing a CV, learning how to budget, or practical things like that.
Exactly.
But the majority really needs someone who makes them feel like seen and heard, makes them regain trust into adults, into other human beings.
Yeah, I'd imagine they wouldn't have any.
No. And that's why quite often it's also a bit of a struggle to get the mentoring relationship going, because the young people will have to learn to trust and think, yeah, actually that person is showing up for me. Yes, he or she actually takes the time and listens. So yeah, I might give this a go. Because initially a lot of them are, they want it, but they don't trust the whole thing.
No, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Then what reason would they have to, like, initially going into it, unless you literally see the results, or maybe if someone close to you went through it already and went, hey, listen, there's a brilliant program where they give you these amazing specialists, go here, then the trust is there. But if you're just if you're the first one there out of your whole little circle, you're just kind of, okay, let's see what's going on here. And that's completely fine, because I don't think you should ever just take everything that you see at face value.
No,
you should always question. You should always have second you should always have like a contingency. You should always be thinking about the backup, about, okay, what are they actually saying to me? What's actually going on here? How is this actually working? But you goal 17, and you yourself, from what you've just said and what you've been talking to me just in general, it's a very genuine kind of vibe going through. And one of the mentees that are going to take part, or are taking part, Guy, who I interviewed in the episode before. Mentor. Sorry, the mentee. Sorry, he's not mentee. He doesn't need anyone mentor. You know, he's always learning, but he doesn't need a mentor.
No.
But Guy from episode 4, and he's joining the program.
Yes, he has. And, he totally stands out with his enthusiasm and passion. And, he wants to help. You can just tell. And we have decided to make him our Goal 17 Fire Service Ambassador.
Fitting.
Absolutely fitting.
Yeah.
And we will be working with him this year now on a project to recruit more people from the fire service as mentors. Because, I mean, let's be honest, firemen, we all love firemen, or women. They just have a good reputation, yeah? They are good people in our mindset. And so to recruit more of them, because young people look up to them as well.
Yeah.
So if I can say to a mentee, I've got this fireman or firewoman for you as a mentor, I think they'll love it. So if we get more of them, because the aim is to recruit, not just this year, but the long-term aim is to recruit about 100,000 mentors.
100,000.
Yes, and by doing that, to break down the barriers in society and help these young people who otherwise get sort of, let's just say, cast aside. Once they leave the care system, they are left to their own devices. And they are not really prepared for that.
I think definitely this is so great. Like, this conversation that we're having, for me, has so many layers to it, especially when you said about when they leave the system, when they leave the care system, they get left to their own devices.
Yes.
Now, this is the exact similar kind of journey I went through with the education system, and which is why I'm even doing this interview series right now, because not even after, but towards the end of the education system, I just felt like I was being left to my own devices, that I was just being pushed to the sides, and now you're going to become a cog in this machine. And I refused, and thank God for my upbringing, thank God for the people that I've been around that have supported me to come this far doing episode 5. But this whole thing about not just, there's so much talent that's being cast aside, there's so much missed opportunities that our society is missing out on because of the rigid system of how we treat different communities or different age groups of people, or people of different abilities. There is beauty and there is specialism and there is brilliance in absolutely every individual that you walk past. They've just got to unlock it.
I totally agree, yeah. That's true. And some people just really need that one person who believes in them. Just one person saying, you know what, I can see you doing this or that, and that'll change them.
It will, because they'll hold that to commitment. Because whenever they're feeling down, they're like, okay, I want to drop this, but then that voice in their head, that's really like, I believe that you're going to be able to do this and that, but you need to do this, but I'm going to be there expecting this to be done. And when you work towards a cause and towards someone else, it's like an analogy. So when we were talking about relationships before, so let's go back to a relationship. When you're in a relationship and you have a goal to set for your partner, you want to really impress them, the lengths that you will go to and what you'll find yourself doing to achieve it is absolutely, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Like what you're,
It's true, yeah.
So that kind of same aspect in the mentoring system is perfect, in my opinion. That's absolutely perfect what you're saying and what 17 is trying to achieve. So that's rah. So that was the aims, and then for you, what is the, well, we kind of talked about what you get out of it personally, but from your personal experience, what was can you give us an example of a really rewarding time in, like, is there an instance where you were coordinating and you saw a match and you were like, wow, like,
so
we did it?
I think probably Fran, the CEO, would be best placed to answer that, and maybe you should put her on your list.
Oh, please, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
If she'd have me, yeah, of
because
course.
obviously this is all her baby. She's been in it from the beginning, and I've only joined in October. But from talking to different mentors and mentees now, when it works, it works. You know, you can just feel the energy that comes from them. So what we normally do is when a relationship comes to a natural end, because the mentee now has what he or she needs, then we like to ask them for some feedback. What did you get out of it, and how did the mentor feel? What did he or she get out of it? And when they both feel like this has been so good, you know, I loved learning about that young person, and the young person absolutely felt, yes, there is someone who was willing to give his time and energy and his ear, his hearing, to what I want, to understand me and to help me along, to signpost me. So yeah, we've had that recently in feedback, and that is what it is all about. So my personal aim would be to facilitate as many functioning mentor-mentee relationships as possible in this year. Sometimes they don't work, whether it is chemistry or different expectations. In those cases, we encourage both mentor and mentee to let us know, and then we will rematch. Sometimes a mentee might have bizarre expectations of what the mentor can do. Obviously, they can't create something, because what they are about helping the young person to deal with their life. So normally we say in their very first meeting, just put up a structure, or write down or agree on what you want to get out of this, and then they can refer back to it time and time again. And if the mentee at some point feels like, there's not really, no, I don't feel like he or she is doing what I expected, then I would encourage them to speak up. And if they actually speak up, that shows me that the trust is there. And that's a good thing. And they have learned to stand up for themselves.
Exactly.
And that's an amazing thing. So yeah, that's how it normally works, and we hope to get as many of those off the ground as possible, and to get more mentors, and make it work.
You're going to make it work, definitely. You're going to make it work. And even if it isn't the whole 100,000, I think I think just with every single relationship created, that is now the potential for that person to go and change the world for other people, their community, maybe many communities, if they're lucky, the entire country, if they're even luckier, the entire industry for many years to come. And that's just what it's going towards that growth as a collective, and that growth to a better world and a better future.
Totally, yes.
That's just,
And we do have some mentors that themselves came out of the care system, and they of course are ideal.
Oh, of course,
because
the empathy
they
is
understand
rife.
what it's all about. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, those ones are, they're tough. They're tough to come out of the care system and then do that. I would personally want to run away, but I think if I had gone through a mentoring program, having come out of the care system, I think that gives you a very rigid focus, because all of a sudden, from having no care in the world and no obligations, not no care in the world, that's wrong, but yeah, no, you have many problems and things going on, but when you don't have a general goal that you're absolutely driven to go to, apart from just surviving and getting by, when you do have that now, 100% of your mind is going to be on that thing.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
true.
focus you're going to have and the progression, how fast you're going to make it. It's especially with people that have people that have conditions such as like dyslexia, or have conditions that they're really bad at, like mathematics, but when they're isolated from a certain segment of the industry, of learning, so on and so forth, when they do find that thing that they're actually good at, you will see that the speed that they move to get those goals done is unparalleled.
Yeah.
Absolutely unparalleled. You're just like, wow, you did that in a day. Wow, you did that in a week. Wow, you did that in a month.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be shunned. They should never be shunned. Unfortunately, the society we are in now, they are shunned. They're shunned a lot.
Yeah.
But they should never be, because they can do absolutely fantastic things.
Absolutely. Because everyone has it in themselves to do something amazing. Because I think we are all put on this planet for a reason. It's just a lot of people don't understand their own reason. And this is where mentoring or coaching can help as well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and as you say, some disadvantaged young people, we also have in our program some people with learning disabilities or any issues, and then that of course could sometimes be a bit challenging, finding the right mentor for them. But when it happens, it is really exciting, because you feel like, yeah, I'm now really doing something fantastic, because I've found a person who really understands the special needs of that young person and is willing to work with them and can make such a difference.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a huge specialism relationship, if when you do achieve that, if and when.
Yeah.
Well, on to the next one, which is, wow, we've done okay. We've got one more on the structure.
Everything.
Yeah, we've gone through everything. We're gonna start not even using these now. So we talked about challenges, not
Yes.
challenges, but the mentee speaking up to the mentor if they feel something isn't going in the correct way,
Yeah.
going in the correct term. In a general sense, not just mentoring, but in a general sense, how important is it for an individual to voice when they're not satisfied with something? How important? Because we see it happening a lot. I know when sometimes I hear it, I'm thinking like, okay, this person's upset, and okay, they're upset, and I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But how important is it to actually value when someone goes, listen, I don't think this is the kind of standard that this should be at, and here's why.
Yeah. Well, I think that really is a matter of communication in the first place. Because as human beings, and no matter what background or in what terms people meet, first thing should always be respect, then empathy with the other person, being able to listen, being able to make the other person feel heard and seen. Those are key things. And when that happens, then absolutely encourage people to speak up for themselves. I think it is pivotal, it is important. And the other one, the one who listens or is being challenged, should have the grace and the respect for the other person to listen that person out. And then it's about finding common ground and seeing, okay, you're not happy. What exactly is it you're not happy about? And what can we do together? Or is it something that I need to change? Is it something, is it just a matter of misunderstanding or misconception? What can we do together? And I think that is the key in helping someone who is dissatisfied. Because a lot of dissatisfaction actually does not come from any particular event or anything that is wrong in what they want to do, but a lot of people are just unhappy with themselves, really dissatisfied with their own achievements or whatever it is. So sometimes, well, I think communication should be about both sides voicing in a respectful way,
of course,
what bothers them, and then finding, yeah, as I said, mutual ground and work on that, work with it, work with each other. I think if that would happen in politics, it would be a better place, this world, wouldn't it?
I think in everything it would be corporate, definitely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Politics, definitely. Just generally in many households, definitely.
Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
definitely. You wouldn't have as many.
Arguments.
You would still have exactly arguments, dysfunctional relationships,
Yeah.
aggression. Bad habits that you kind of use to suppress the bad thoughts, the sadness, as much alcoholism,
True.
much drug abuse. If everyone thought this way and thought about this way about communication, I think when your emotions are high, it's very difficult.
That's true.
To register this.
Yes.
But this is why you need to constantly surround yourself with teachings and with people uttering and re-uttering these kind of words of wisdom. I think as many times, I think this is, you've said, I think another interview, I think Guy's interview, he said a similar kind of point about communication. And I honestly don't mind if that goes on a million times. Because I think, no, seriously, because I think that is just the absolute building blocks to greatness and to symbiosis, to people being able to work together no matter what they do, irrespective of what they believe in, irrespective of what they look like, what their abilities are, what their goals are. This is how the world can grow.
Absolutely.
Together.
And I mean, if we don't speak our mind, then we'll always have the other person guessing, or worse, second guessing. And that's never good. It is much better to have the ability to clearly structure what you want to say and say it. Like I say, if you are non-offensive, but state your point, then there shouldn't be a problem. And if emotions run high, I think a good advice is to just step away from it, go for a walk, or whatever, get some fresh air, come back, and then a bit more settled, a bit calmer, sit down and say to each other, this is not working. Why is it not working? Can we change it? Of course, sometimes relationships, whatever, have run their course and it doesn't work. People can't work it out. But then there's actions to be taken. But normally, in any kind of conversation, it is just as important, maybe more important, to learn to listen than to speak.
Listen with two ears, speak with one mouth.
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
It's very, very true. Trying to there's nothing wrong with interjections. No. There's nothing wrong with it, but one would find that if they look through the whole course of every conversation that they've had, that they've actually been able to give better responses when they've put all their energy into listening to what the other person has said.
Yeah.
And if the person is giving it like a longer piece of speech or a long piece of information, jot it down. Jot it down, but still listen.
Yeah.
So you remember the points made, the points being made, the ideas coming into your head, and then you give your own free flowing answer when the cue is ready. Yeah.
And sometimes, maybe if a situation has escalated too much, instead of rejoining an argument, maybe take the time to sit down with pen and paper, old-fashioned, write it down. Like, write down in an argument between husband and wife.
Right.
Write down, as the wife, to your husband, the things that you love about him, the things that really irritate you, and the things where you feel like, we need to change this, or can we change this? And then read it again, and then maybe hand it to him. Because if you sit down and write, at least that's the case for me, it just flows better. In an argument, as you say, there's emotions, there's all kinds of things going on that distract you from what you want to really bring across. And it can be too negative in the moment. Whereas if you take the time, think about it, and then write it down, you will probably bring across exactly what it is that is at the nucleus of the problem.
And it's going to be way easier to make a solution as well, because now you can see it as like an objective point, as like a now it's been explained to you properly, and you've got it in writing, so now you can always refer back to it as you're trying to change it. Is it working?
Yeah.
Is this changing? And you're going to be much happier for it. You know?
I think so.
Going a cappella with these kind of things is not good. No, it's not, honestly. No, we've all tried it.
That's all right for music.
Yeah, it's good for music. It's good for creating stuff and putting it out there.
Absolutely.
But it's horrible for relationships.
It is.
It's horrible. Absolutely. And this is just not even the
any
romantic
relationship.
one.
Yeah.
Any relationship.
Whether it is between parents and children, or friends, or whatever.
Teacher.
Or, as we said before, professionally.
Yeah.
In the workplace. There, it's, I think, particularly important.
Sometimes it's not done enough.
Take a deep breath before you answer. Before that little moment of taking a deep breath can help you internally stepping away from the situation, reassessing it, and then thinking, okay, well, I have to work here. So, I can't go in
exactly. You can't
blazing.
just go, exactly. No, I saw an incident quite recently of there was a confrontation. Don't know what the origin of the source was, but one of the parties, he was much older than the person he was engaging with in the argument, and he took this step. I don't even know if he knew what he was doing, but when I spoke to him later and he did his reasoning, I was thinking, wow. So he took a step back and he just kind of like just walked off, like he just chilled out, walked off. And later on, maybe the next day or two, we're in a conversation about what happened, and anyway, he was explaining what was going on, and the other person was getting really, really aggressive. And he was like, but I'm not losing my job for this, I'm not gonna, so I just, I'm gonna think, we could keep it professional and whatever, but, I'm never gonna raise a hand until, if you raise a hand at me, that's different in self-defense, but I'm never gonna raise a hand or look for a confrontation at all. It's not in my interest. It shouldn't be in theirs, but you know what I mean? It's not in his interest. And it's a simple line, and loads of people think about it, but every single person that kind of adopts that kind of mentality towards a problem, it reeks wisdom, and it's something that should be absorbed and replicated.
Yeah, because violence or anything, aggression, is not really an answer to anything, is it? It
just promotes more, because it's retaliation.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Or fear, like you're not gonna achieve any positive outcomes through aggression and violence, especially in those kind of workplaces.
No, absolutely. That is a point about leadership. That's what I look for in a mentor as well. Leadership.
Leadership.
Can they guide someone? Can they? It's one thing to talk to them or to mentees and to help them with practical things, but are you the sort of person that can actually influence and guide? Because that is really important. And true leaders don't need their, shall we call them followers, to be fearful. And a really good boss is not afraid of you being clever and good at your job. They welcome it. A really good boss would welcome it, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would.
Sadly, it doesn't happen in the corporate.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Unfortunately. Not saying that in no workplace it doesn't.
No, I'm sure there are workplaces out there, but yeah.
The majority of them,
it's different because most managers want to shine themselves. They want to bathe in their own glory, and some of them even, let's say, sort of abuse the work of their underlings.
Exactly.
And make out that I've done
I'm very important. I need to do.
And that's just wrong. If I know how good I am, I don't need to bring other people down. I lift them up. I lift them up to be there with me.
Exactly.
And that's another great thing about Goal 17, because there is no structure of here, there. No.
It's all unilateral
yes,
kind of Mayo Clinic. Yeah.
And it is just lovely. It's a lovely environment. And, what more do you want? Yeah. Going to work and feeling like, actually, this is like a family. And
the best kind of jobs.
Absolutely.
The kind of jobs
and
that
we have
remembered.
a mentor family. The mentors are our family, and the mentees are our family, and that's how we want everyone to feel and treat each other. So yeah.
That's perfect. No, it's a really good, it's a great mentality, and it's a great sense of recognition of what's wrong with a lot of relationships in the professional case, in a social case, in a romantic case, in many different applications. And especially that point that you just said about your managers wanting you to be on a similar level to yourself.
Yeah.
It's not even just managers, because what is a manager? A manager is the position that you're given. But you as a person need to want everyone that you know to be on the same level as yourself.
Yeah.
Because then new doors open for growth that you never saw before. Because everyone has now come to the same level, and now they're having ideas that, oh, have you ever thought about doing something like this? Or, oh, have you seen that? And instead of going, no, take the time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, look at what they're saying and go, that's actually a good, maybe this isn't for me, but this gives me an idea about something else. Or this is something that would be useful to this person. Now you're creating something. You're in the basis of creating something, and something usually very, very good.
Yeah. I mean, everything evolves all the time, doesn't it? One of the worst sentences I have heard many times in the corporate world is, well, we've always done it this way.
Exactly.
And then, the question,
exactly.
when you then question them, but is it working for you? Well, we've always done it this way.
Like this. It's always been like this.
You've got to be open for changes. Like we said before, you've got to see that, well, yeah, you've always done it this way, and some of it is good and works fine, but do open yourself up for the possibility that something else might work even better, and fresh eyes might see something that you haven't seen, or that you can't see anymore because you just look at the same thing all the time.
Exactly. You know what? This brings me to, is it with me? I think I've got it here. So there's a book I've been reading. I got this from, this book, It's Just Good for Business by Jill Poet. I bought this at the same business expo that I met Guy at.
Ah.
So the one
okay.
at Leicester, you see, it's all links. It's all really weird and it all links. But she literally, she talks about how this is why small enterprise, small ventures in any essence, whether that's your writing, whether that's me with my interview,
Yeah.
whether that's me with my business, whether that's Guy with what he's doing for mentoring, these kind of more small, smaller entities making this change, we actually have an advantage that big corporations do not have and will never have once you become a multinational. And it's because we don't have as much bureaucracy and as much kind of regulations that keep us on just a really one set path. There isn't really a way to deviate a path. We're so flexible. We can take so many, and they could as well.
They could, yeah.
They could. They choose not to, but you know that's to our benefit. But we, like you said, your the first boyfriend you had when you moved here sent you a deck of cards with writing on each and every one. This is a deck of cards now. Each and every one with writings from the beginning all the way to the end of life.
Yeah.
And now it's transformed into a book.
Yeah.
You see, she Jill Poet opened a orb. Right, an orb community platform, which is a community of small businesses that have a very, very strict goal of like social and environmental awareness and business practice. And because of that journey, she made this book. And now, because now I'm reading this book, I've been drawn to people like you, to people like Guy, to these kind of things that we're talking about in our conversations, to do with community, to do with bringing people up to the same level as you. And it's just small, not even just businesses, but small enterprise, and enterprise as in you as an individual going out, because it's an enterprise, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
It's
of course.
it's an enterprise. It's your own private thing. You're writing, as much as it is creative, you've manifested something from your head into this world.
Yeah.
So
True.
it's, and this is with anything, it's absolutely imperative that this keeps going on.
Yeah.
It must keep going on, and we must not overlook the fact that this is an advantage that we have. Put everything from your personal life or little things that you see around you, little things that mean something to you, and put it out there in a big way.
Yeah. And I mean, anyhow, if you want to succeed in any kind of business, small business, well, bigger is a different story. But how do you do it? How do you do it nowadays? How do you develop visibility? How do people get to know about you? They won't know about you if you just sit in your house and don't go out. I mean, nowadays, we've got the internet, we've got all kinds of platforms, and I think professionally LinkedIn, where we met.
Exactly. It's a brilliant platform.
It's
a brilliant platform if you know how to use it properly.
True. Yes. So how do you use it properly? I think you've got to do regular posts. It doesn't have to be every day, but regular, so that you become visible.
Listen, guys, listen. No, seriously, because everyone has LinkedIn, but you think it's just how you, it's just forgetting the job, really.
Well,
just using it as reference. I mean, that's what people think.
That's how I got Goal 17 job. But, so it is about posting something that is of value, not just to yourself, but to others potentially as well. And then comment on other people's posts that you find valuable, and just keep doing that. And, that way you develop a visibility. People will start noticing you. And that helps you. But also, in your, if we call this your virtual life, in the real life, get out. Do something in your community. Like when I worked for Bentley Motors, I was representing Bentley in the Dementia Action Alliance. And from there I became a Dementia Friends Ambassador, and I did loads of work in the community here for people living with dementia. I led a deep group towards the end, and I even managed to get them on the local radio. That was amazing. That's one of my proudest moments, because these people, they don't, I mean, with dementia, one of the problems is they don't want to do much, you know, and certainly nothing that is new, nothing that is in any way scary.
Okay.
So
they don't want to take the risk.
No. So
Right.
in my deep group there were people with dementia and their partners, and I one day said, you know what, we want to attract more people to our group. How can we best do this? Yes, I can go on the radio and I can talk about dementia, but if you talk about it, that's much more effective, because you are living it. I don't. Yeah, I've got the theory, but you are doing it. You live it. You have to live it. So if you come with me to the radio station and you just let the other people know how important it is to have little groups where you can talk, where you can exchange your experiences, you and the carers, the partners, then that'll have so much more meaning to people out there. So I got 2 of them to come with me, and they talked, and they said how valuable it is and how important to meet up with other people who are in the same boat. So that was fantastic, you know. I got them to get out of their shell and do something.
Exactly. And what they put in, because they're living it,
exactly,
is the grade of every word uttered, because everyone in that same category, in that same situation, is going to resonate with that so much more.
Yeah.
Because it's just what's actually happening and what it's actually like.
And unfortunately, dementia is growing, sadly. So most people, either directly or indirectly, are, you know, impacted by it.
Why is it? Is there a specific reason, or
I think there's
a synopsis or hypothesis
I think
of
there's
why?
different ideas behind it. Like, I remember when it was the mad cow disease in the UK.
Okay.
Back then, people said, you know, 20 years on, we'll start seeing rising cases of dementia. And we are there now.
Okay.
So I don't know if it has to do with that.
When age, or people living longer.
People live longer, and you know, 100 years ago people wouldn't reach the age. And of course, dementia is not just for older people. There is unfortunately younger people who have been diagnosed, and even children, which is particularly sad.
Jesus.
Yeah. So why? I guess there's all kinds of factors. Maybe there's the environment. There's a lot of contributing factors. It's like in football as well. All the headers they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they get them. I remember that.
Yes, or in boxing.
Yeah.
You know,
Head
everything
blows,
to your
everything.
face. Yeah. So there is these things. Then there is genetic
Dementia.
components. Yeah. Anyhow, it is as it is, and we just have to accept that it's there. It's there, like cancer or heart disease.
Yeah.
And, you know, the best way to deal with it is to learn about it, be prepared, and then find it easier to work with your relative once they are diagnosed, which can be really hard because people change. It's not like with cancer when someone gets ill and is suffering. With dementia, people change. The person you know goes away. So really you lose someone twice. You lose someone the first time when they change and eventually don't recognize you, don't know who you are, but you know who they are. And that's what Dementia Friends encourages people to never forget. You know who they are. You know that is your mother, for example. And you know, even though she doesn't know who you are, you know she's the person who raised you, who loved you, who whatever. So just give her the love.
That she gave.
Don't expect her to know you are her son or daughter, just, be there.
That's hard.
It is hard, and it
Yikes.
is challenging, and it is really hard. Yeah, absolutely.
So to everyone out there that is dealing with, not even dealing with, but living alongside dementia, I don't even think there's words that can actually articulate what my brain is feeling about it. It's a very, very difficult, very, 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 very difficult situation.
It is, absolutely.
It's thank you for being part of that organisation and getting them on the radio show and getting more awareness out there. Definitely seeing more awareness at home, like just on the TV, main media, about dementia, about how to go through the process with a relative that has it. But it will never get any easier.
No,
it becomes
it's scary.
It's very scary.
It is very
scary.
scary.
If my mum or my dad like looked at me and didn't know who I was, I mean, right now, I don't think you're ever ready. You're not ever ready.
You're not.
You're not ever ready.
No, you're not. But from their point of view, they just go back in time. So all of a sudden, your mother might be your own age. She might look at you and think, can't have a child that is that age. I am. She would there's a picture in one of the campaigns where an old woman looks into a mirror, and in the mirror you see a young
version,
really young woman. So if I see myself as 20, I can't have a 26-year-old son, can I?
Right. It just becomes unfeasible.
Absolutely.
The logic, everything's so weird.
Yeah, it's just all. Yeah, I mean, now, as you say, it's more in the media. It's not so much of something that people feel they have to hide. I mean, my personal opinion is there's no illness that needs to be hidden. It's an illness, it's not something you have done. It happened. But in movies, you have it. It's just... In literature as well, in books it is mentioned, and it is more out there, and famous people also have come out and said, I've got dementia, or their relatives have come out, and it is a sad disease, but at least it's something that we can be sort of not trained, but we can be made to understand a bit. And once we understand that they don't mean bad when they don't recognize you, or when they keep forgetting things, or when they put the keys in the fridge and the milk in the bookshelf, something like that. It's not that they want to wind you up. They don't know any better. And once you get that in your head, then you can be actually really supportive.
Yeah, and not so hard on what actions are happening around you. You come to terms. You understand.
Yeah.
You understand why it's happened, and therefore you can. It's like when we have a cat. So when we first had this cat, his name is Simba. Feral. He was horrible to deal with. And I was mainly at uni, so I'm just getting the call from my mum saying, this cat's got to go. This cat is going up this tree. He's jumping here, jumping there. He's going in the most dirty puddles and bushes you can think of. We washed him, and you know what came off him. All of this, and only through looking up cat behavior, through asking people who have cats, from watching him as an individual and watching like his habits, and obviously teaching him the rights and wrongs with the bounds of the house, where he can, where he can't go, and actively talking to him and communicating him to this every single day. Now he's absolutely fine. Like now he's just another member. Yeah, he'll go on the windowsill. He'll sit there. He'll follow. Like we know, he knows when he's gonna get fed, so he's there waiting for us immediately. Yeah, immediately go there, eat, then he goes outside, runs around, knows when we're coming back home, so then he's there, then he comes in. Now when we bathe him, he just sits, he doesn't try and escape. Before, he hated it.
That's brilliant.
I know,
Because
but now he
cats
just sits
really
there.
hate water, don't
I
they?
know. I absolutely, like, immediately from when I'm going up the stairs, it's just... But now he's literally just stands there. Like, he stands there. We even had a collar
Yeah.
to keep him in the bath so he wouldn't like just randomly jump out. But he just stood there and he just moved his neck so that we could get there, and I was like, wow.
That's great.
Yeah. And I think it's just the same kind of application to when you're dealing or communicating with anybody, understand where they're coming from, understand why things are happening,
Yeah.
and you're just going to be able to coincide with each other so much easier.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you need to understand the background of things and of people to effectively deal with it. Yeah, that's true. And so I mean, obviously, dementia and Alzheimer's, that's one charity here, but I always encourage people to find something meaningful that they can do for their community, whatever it is. And it's good for yourself because, let's be honest, it does help you. Like I said, it was a really great moment when I saw them sit there and talk to the radio host and feel that, yeah, okay, I can do this. So if you can help other people, or if you don't want to go with a charity or whatever, become a mentor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anything, just create anything or do anything for the people around you, and it's going to be so fulfilling.
No, absolutely. And I mean, one of the mentors I interviewed said something like, really, society fails our young people, particularly those coming out of the care system, and realistically we are the universal parent for them, and we should take that responsibility. And I think that sums it up.
Universal parent.
Yeah, I thought that was really brilliant.
That's really good. No, it is.
It is, yeah.
And I think it's a concept that if we look back in history, well, at least when I did history in university, and I looked back on how the towns would kind of structure social programs. So this is fire service, health service, caring, schooling. It was the responsibility of everyone of age to somehow give not just a fiscal, a monetary contribution, but actually be a part of a program in some sort of way. And I think that kind of interconnection with your community is actually really overlooked, and it's really, really good.
It is.
It's really, really good.
And it is, I think, what is dying a bit.
Yes.
You know, like as
It's
you say,
definitely
back
dying.
in history, back in the days when every neighbor knew the other neighbor, and well, children grew up together, and it's not like that anymore, is it? There's more isolation, even in smaller towns like this one. People live their own lives. They go out to work, they come back, and that's it.
That's it.
Don't go and talk to your neighbors or whatever, and that's a shame.
It is a shame, but I see that, like you said, we see change as something exciting.
Absolutely, yeah,
and it is transforming.
It is.
It is because I've never heard of a program that puts that pairs mentors together. Never heard of it ever.
Yeah.
Ever in my life. So, and it's mainly virtual, I'm assuming, or is it in person?
Well, for our care leavers, we do prefer to have local mentors. Like if we take Guy, I pair him with a young person in Leicester. Because for them it is important really to get that personal touch, to get that feeling that, yeah, actually, it's not just someone behind a screen. They can do that as well. But every now and again, to meet in person is important.
Oh, it's very important. I refused to do one of my interviews virtually. No, seriously, it's not even about the quality of the camera or any of that kind of stuff, but it's the guest knowing that I'm taking the time, or the guest is taking the time to come to me, or I'm going to them, and then we're just having that authentic talk, and you can see that both of us are present and here to make something that we both believe in.
Yeah.
Through a screen, it's like, okay, all right, Daniela, when are we going to do this interview? 3:00. All right, then. Set my clock for 2:55, and I'll put only a shirt on, and I won't wear anything underneath, because you won't see underneath. No, it's true. They're like, this is very much something that has happened and could happen but in this way, I have to make sure the train ticket to Crewe, and they're striking today, so I wasn't even sure. Okay. Yeah, this is the last day. So don't worry, guys. Anyone national, don't worry. This will be way over before you even see it. But like I had to get the train ticket. I had to make sure that tell you what time that I'm coming here. Send you the questions before, so on and so forth. Yeah. And it's just that little bit more effort, which is why means where it doesn't matter how many people watch this. One person, a million people. But I took the time to create something that I believe in.
Absolutely. And
I can see the reaction from people that I just talk to about like what I'm doing. They look at it and like, oh wow, yeah, I want to follow this. I want to see you make more. I'm like, I will be making more.
Yes.
And this is, and it doesn't matter what we even talk. It doesn't matter what we talk about, but the fact that we've gone to dementia, I didn't expect to even utter a word about it right now. But I'm glad we did. Yeah. And I'm glad that we went through that avenue of the conversation, because what is a mentor if not someone that's looking after someone with dementia? Because the roles are flipped now. You're looking after that person. You are a parental figure. You are making sure that person's safe. You have duty of care. This all links in. It isn't exactly about 17, but it all links in.
Yes.
You know, and what better person to talk about it than you? It's true. Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fantastic program, and mentors in the end.
Oh, they get this.
Get this.
You know, guys.
Because they do a training, and then they get a certificate, which.
Oxford Brookes Business School.
Yes.
International Centre of Coaching and Mentoring Studies, and this is yours.
Yeah, this is mine. I thought I'll do it as well. I mean, I don't have to do it for my job, but I thought I want to know what the mentors do, and then I can challenge them as well and say, have you done that?
Very good. No, this is good. Do you remember
from the course? And after that course, which is online, they also then get a training with one of my colleagues, Joe, who then takes them through a more intense training. And plus, we are now working on creating a mentor academy where we will do more and more snippets of training or go in depth with some things, share best practices. That's another thing I want to do this year, is create round tables for mentors. Like virtually, yes. But for example, let's stick with Guy because we both know him.
Of course.
We'll do a round table for the Leicester mentors. And we'll meet online. And the mentors can meet as well because they don't know each other. They might live in the same area and maybe they happen to know each other, but they don't. So then they get to know each other. They can share best practices. They can ask me questions, and Joe will come on and he will do little snippets of training or answer questions. And then we will offer more in-depth training on certain topics that the mentors might want to learn more about. And to me, the round tables are all about looking after the mentors. These people give up their free time, so they are volunteering. It's something worthwhile. However, I believe they need to be pampered,
Yeah,
they need to be looked after. And now that we have grown a bit in Goal 17 We are a bit of a bigger team now than before me and my colleague Lee joined. We can do more. We can do these things. We can set aside time and say, right, this week I'll do the Leicester Mentor Roundtable. This week I'll do Surrey, Southampton, Northampton, whatever. And I think that's important because they can then, they see we are there and we care. We don't just sign them up and leave them to their own devices.
Exactly, you assist them with the process. Correct. You give them the tools in order for them to complete whatever the task that they're set out to do in the mentoring atmosphere.
So no one is left alone, not the mentees and not the mentors. So it is a good program. And
so in terms of we talked about the care system, people coming out of the care system. So with the corporate side of the what can you tell me a little, because I know we've got a lot of people doing their own enterprises watching this as well. How can they go about finding the mentor, and specifically maybe what kind of people should be thinking about Goal 17?
Well, we've recently done, we've worked together with BNP Paribas, and so how it happens in the corporate world is we do a training, and then the company, because obviously they know their employees, we don't, and it's not like with the young people, it's a different situation. So they advertise within their company, within their business, right, we are going to run a mentoring program, sign up as a mentor or mentee. So it'll be, let's say, upper management as mentors, and people who want to develop their career as mentees. So they work on different issues. For them, it is all about how can I become a better, don't know, whatever it is.
Whether it's consultant, solicitor, whatever
exactly.
It is. Right.
What can I do to stand out? How can I progress in my career? And the mentor will work with them to get them there. So it is the same program and it is not.
I get that. It's more inclusive. It's more within the organisation okay. So if someone externally wanted to find mentorship with their enterprise, is there anything you could suggest for them to do, or is it more of they should just keep going out there, network, and then what comes around?
Networking definitely helps, and we're back to LinkedIn. I think.
No, of course,
it is a great platform for that. And I mean, if a business like I have approached Bentley Motors as well. If a business is interested in developing their employees, then they should be open to doing something like this, or a leadership training, or whatever. Something to make people want to be there.
Yes.
And not just because they get a paycheck at the end of the month, but because they get value out of it.
Exactly.
So I mean,
I think that's really, really. We talk about the values of a company. I think that's really, really. Funny enough, it's one of the most important things that you must deduce when you're approaching a company first of all. But it's one of the hardest things to also find out about a company, because if I take, for example, Brewdog. Maybe 4 years ago, there were loads of case studies and loads of interviews and videos coming out about Brewdog really valuing small to medium size businesses. And now we zoom forward now, present day, loads of things coming out saying that Brewdog are now not following those principles in any kind of way or form, and shouldn't be considered as one that is socially and environmentally aware. So it's how would you go about finding them? I think that's a good question. How would you go and find out the core values of a company? What's the kind of a roadmap that you could?
I mean, you can of course Google the company, and usually all companies have their core values on
Of
their
course,
website.
they will.
However, whether they really live them is a different story. So the best way is, if you can, talk to employees or former employees.
Okay.
I
Employees
think
and former employees.
they
Of course,
will
yeah.
give you
The breakdown. They will
Yes.
give you the. They will give
Yeah.
you the break. I'm currently employed by Hard Rock. If
Yeah.
someone asked me, okay, what is it like to be an employee of Hard Rock? There isn't a set kind of thing that I have to say or I'm obliged to say. I'm sure there's certain things I can't say, but when I talk about my own personal experience, it's going to be an accurate, because I'm living it, because I'm doing it every single day for 8 hours a day. You know, this, I know exactly how I feel about this place and how things are going for me when I go there.
Yeah.
And like you said, go to the source, primary research.
Yeah.
Primary research. So yeah, guys, primary research when you're finding the core values of a company. Find a former employee. LinkedIn, again, guys.
Absolutely.
LinkedIn is so sat on. There is no, I will need to tell them. LinkedIn is so sat on. I ask loads of people in my own social circle, do you have LinkedIn? If they say yes, then it's not really developed. If it's not really developed, they don't have it. It is one of them, especially if you have good communication skills, especially if you're just like, hiya, I'm starting a company and I'm thinking about what kind of materials I need for my toys, and you're talking to someone that you sees does a toy thing. What materials would you say I should or should not avoid, you know, without them giving up private information? And they'll tell you.
Yeah.
They'll tell you, you know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of, I need, I want a few more guests for my interview series. Okay, LinkedIn. Who do I have? Okay, Guy. Oh, Guy has this wonderful lady that comments on all her posts. What does she does? Mentoring. That's brilliant. Daniela, would you like to be part of the mentoring program? And then you said yeah. And now we're here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
LinkedIn is sat on.
I think
Get
it
it.
is.
Do
Yeah.
it. No, do it. Do it and use it properly. Not just use it to, as I know a lot of people are doing this. They use it just so they have like the standard innovation of having a LinkedIn that has people on it.
Yeah.
You know, how many connections have you heard? Oh, I've got this many connections and I'm connected with this person. No.
No, that's
No.
not that's not what it is about.
That is not what it
happens
is at
eventually.
all. Of course.
If you spend enough years on it.
No, of course,
Your
yeah.
network
Your
grows.
network's going to be massive. But
Yeah.
you need, it's a gateway.
And
It's
if you
a door.
change companies like I have done, with every company there's a network, and then you change, and then
Another
you
40
keep that
people.
network, but you get more and more, and then through people, through other people, through other venues, it grows. But that's not really the important thing.
It's about
And
utilizing
it's also
them.
not the important thing, like I have seen on some, to vent about things, or to
Oh.
you know, or to start arguing. And no, why do you do that? If someone posts something that you don't like, well, it's like on Facebook or wherever, just scroll past.
Mm.
You don't have to get into everything, particularly if it stirs up negative emotions. Stay away from that. Just share your knowledge and take in the knowledge of other people. I think that's what I would like to see LinkedIn being used for.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I completely agree. And I think that it's a real skill because there's so much being said in a very intricate level. I think in LinkedIn there's a lot more value on the post in comparison to like Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not shallow. It's very, very well thought out. It's very, very, there's a purpose behind what that person said. And especially if that person's goals doesn't align with yours and they give a very intricate thing, it's very easy to get upset, especially when there's probably good points on there that are making you upset. But like you said, go past it. I would recommend reading it and understand the point of view, but go past it and you've added to your wisdom without even knowing. Subconsciously, you're adding to your wisdom.
Yeah. Because, there's still too much hatred out there anyhow, and I don't like to engage with that. I like to bring positive energy and positive people into my life. And yeah, and I have seen on well, not just LinkedIn, but in general on social media, people get into proper personal arguments, and they don't even know each other. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It could be
I've
someone
never seen
in the
someone's
United
face.
States putting something. You just don't know them, and then you get into this argument about a third thing or a third person. What benefit is there to that? There's benefit in, as you say, reading things, looking at that opinion, and if it's completely contrary to yours, think about it. Is there anything in it? And if there's not, okay, leave it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And hope that your opinions are treated in the exact same way. Obviously, people won't agree with what you're saying, but if the intention behind your post is to make the world a better place or raise awareness about something, an experience that you've had, people will read it and people will take what they can from it.
Yeah.
And hopefully you get constructive comments about it. Even better if you get constructive criticism from it, like positive remarks, not just someone going, "You idiot." No.
No,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, exactly.
That doesn't help, does it?
Yeah, it's just like, but in my experience, I found that this happened this happened with that. And now this is a progressive conversation.
Exactly. Then there's a conversation going. That's fine. But as you say, if you just put, "Oh, you, whatever."
Exactly.
Okay. You don't even know me.
Exactly.
You know.
Like, what did you have to gain? I'm trying to actually raise something here, and you just say, "So go away."
Yeah.
But this is what we're trying to work towards to avoid.
Yes.
Avoid.
Yeah. No, that's right. And if people would use social media in the right way, there's a lot of benefit in it, because, you meet people that you'd otherwise never have met, and you can learn from other people all kinds of things, and you can communicate with these people, you can express your own thoughts, you can learn, and that's how it should be. Learning. I'm a great believer in lifelong learning anyhow, and there's a lot that we can use the internet for that is beneficial.
There is. Unfortunately, those applications aren't the first things that are shown to us. It isn't the things that are promoted very much so. But we're working to change it. But we're not just sitting there complaining. We're doing
No,
this
we are
interview
not.
series right now. So we, in our little way, are working to change that. Hopefully, when someone watches this, the algorithm will be like, now look at this. It's another constructive conversation about this topic, another one about that topic, an audiobook about this. This is the kind of little change that I had initially when I was doing this interview series. I wanted someone to open their whatever social media they use, and their feed be something of someone giving them advice. It's way better than watching someone else get hurt.
Oh, absolutely.
Or whatever the million other horrible negative things are on there, or vain things anyway, which are bad in themselves.
Yes, absolutely. And if we can help, as you said earlier, if you can just help one person, if you just make a difference to one person, you've achieved a lot. And there is a lot of positive things we can do if we put our mind to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really. So we've got one more, because we've covered a lot of points that I didn't even expect us to do. But this is why I never want to do a virtual meet, because that kind of magic is taken away. It's taken away.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big this file's going to be. The magic is taken away. Okay, so we've got one more question, and that is, what is the impact Project 17 hopes to make in the next 10 years?
Yeah, I think it is growing the family of mentors and helping as many mentees as possible, and rolling out the program, because currently it's in England and it's mainly I think Leicester is one of the most northerly points
that the program goes to.
Yeah. So we are working on rolling it out, working with local authorities further up. And I think my vision for it would be, we start with England, but then we branch out to Wales, Ireland, Scotland, and take it from there. I mean, really, it's such a good program that hopefully eventually we roll it out across Europe and help as many young people as possible to find a purpose.
Yeah, because that's a big issue in Europe currently. We're not going to
yes.
go politically. We're not going to go political.
We talked about that before.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But with the kind of just the general international trends, I think when people find their purpose and their purpose isn't dictated to them, this is how we avoid atrocities against humanity and avoid really, really horrible things. Just really, really horrible things. We just need to. Everyone just needs to find what they believe they can do for the betterment of mankind, for their brother, for their sister, for the people around them.
Yeah.
And it will just become. Not saying it'll be perfect, but it'll be better than it is now.
Promote understanding, eliminate hatred. Be open for everyone around you. It doesn't matter if they believe in something else than you do, whether they are Christians, Muslims, Hindu, whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is that really we are all on this earth to find our own happiness and help others find theirs.
Exactly.
And that's what we should focus on.
Exactly. I mean, my personal experience as well, and I'm 21. I'm going to be 22 in what is it, the second today? 5 days.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, yeah, 5 days. 5 days. But in my experience in just the workplace and in the education system, I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by loads of different people from many different places, as London is well known for. Sure. And it really, really does not matter about what they believe in when it comes to religion or culture. I see the good people, and they're not the same. They're good in their different ways. They're still individuals.
Absolutely.
And so trying to all put everyone under this one umbrella, in my opinion, it never works.
No,
absolutely never works. You're just this is how you're going to get clashes. Yeah. When someone says I'm right and what you think, believe in, whatever is wrong, this is where you're going to get an argument.
Conflict, and because no one is right all the time.
Yeah,
and each and every one of us has their strengths and their weaknesses, their good sides, their less so good sides, and that doesn't matter. We are all human, and working with it and not working against each other in the workplace and in the everywhere. Yes, I think that's where we come in with Goal 17 as well, to promote working together, to promote helping each other, and then a lot of things, as you said, probably won't happen.
Exactly. A lot of less suffering.
Yeah.
A lot less inequality, whether that's inequality of distribution of resources, inequality in distribution of knowledge, inequality of what profession this demographic of people go into as opposed to a different demographic of people. It's about bringing people up to your same level, as closest to your level as you may be possible. And
just giving them opportunities that they didn't even know that existed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what drives. And our goals are very, 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 very similar. Because everyone that I've interviewed, anyone that I've ever spoke to, knows that me and the education system, we don't mix. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. And it's because it didn't show me the opportunity of what I'm doing. This came out of me making this interview series, or me even starting my business, came from a place of pain and came from me saying, I don't want to just become a delinquent
Yeah,
in
yeah.
in society. I know I can do something, so I'm gonna go all guns blazing. I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
But having projects out there like 17 that is going to facilitate people that feel that exact same way, especially even in the care system, you feel that way all the time. So they feel that exact same way. Them now being able to see a purpose, I understand a lot of what that magic feels like.
Yeah.
It's you can't describe it. It's you can't describe it.
No, that's true. I mean, once a person understands themselves and their purpose, what makes them tick and what they can bring to the table, basically, then you're in a good place. And if we can help young people find that, then what more do we want?
What more do we need?
Exactly. And the good thing is the program is free for all mentees. So there is no barrier. You don't have to, obviously not everyone can afford to pay for a counselor, a coach, whatever. But they have
program
access
is free.
to this, and it's free for them. So, I mean, we are paid through the government, through the local authorities.
Of course.
But for the mentees, it's free.
It's free.
So, and that's important.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's lower barriers to entry.
Exactly.
Lower barriers to entry, of course.
Yeah.
There must be a website.
There is, and of course, Goal 17 is on LinkedIn.
It is on LinkedIn.
And the CEO is on LinkedIn, Fran Borman. And I can only encourage everyone to look and connect and think about whether you want to do something, give back to society. Do your little bit and help a young person to find themselves.
What more can I say? Thank you, Daniela.
Thank you.
No. Thanks is all to you. Thank you for having me here. It's just a pleasure for me to be out here. A day off work, you think, okay, what am I going to do today? I'm going to iron the clothes. I'm going to make sure that all these things do need to be done.
Of course they do. Unfortunately.
It's a lying. You're going to lie. You're going to sleep there for most of the day because you're just recovering from the many days that you just did relentless shifts during the Christmas period.
Oh yeah.
But to start the new year, for this to be the 2nd of January and me doing an interview episode I feel content.
Oh, good.
I will sleep very, very well today.
That's brilliant.
Very, very well.
Yeah. No, I think it's a real pleasure, and I think you'll go far.
I do my very best, and I hope all of you that are watching as well, watch this episode or any of the episodes before. This helps you go that much further, okay? Because that's the whole goal. We're bringing everyone up to the same playing field and giving the wisdom out. That is the whole reason of why we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, so use us, guys. Use
us.
the
Get
connections.
in touch with us.
LinkedIn.
For whatever. I mean,
everything. LinkedIn
help.
will be in the description. I will put Project 17's LinkedIn in the description as well. Is there a website?
Yeah, there is, and it's Goal 17. But the best way is get in touch either with me directly, and I can, give you the information you need. Or if you just type in Goal 17 and mentoring, it'll come up.
It's all gonna be in the description, guys. It's gonna be in the comments. You can't play arrogance. You'll know it's there. Yeah, come on, you can't play arrogance. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Anytime. Thank you, Pentishan. Yeah. That's me joking.